even better getting the other ninja on because he knows how to do this stuff.
Oh, this is his bag, is it?
Well, I'm like the Rodney. I just sweep up and make the tea. You know.
But there we go. There's a wee delay.
There he is. There's usually just like a 30 seconds. I think YouTube has.
Yeah.
Right,
So have you? Can you check that for me now?
I can. I'm gonna.
Is that it? Is that your phone?
Yeah, it's on. There's no picture, but the audio's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna. Well, there's the title card away now.
Let me just take my headphones off for a second.
Yeah.
Here, that's level, mate. That's level as hell. That's like we're perfect.
Perfect, mate. Right, we're ready to go then.
Let's break it with video.
Do it. Boom. Yes. Hopefully this is working. Yeah. Well, it seems to. There we go.
Is that your phone? Yeah, it's on. There's no picture.
Oh, there we go. It's on. That's it. It's working. Class.
Epic. Epic. Oh my God! Look at that. Look at that.
Look at how sexy you are.
I know, man. It's the Fidel Castro.
Will you mute your phone because I can hear it coming through?
Wee second. Yes, mate. I will do. 1 wee second. I just want you.
Yep. Oh, you've just muted yourself.
Yes, no, that's dead on, mate. Yes, I was just checking the video. It was all sweet. All right. So
awesome.
Anyway, that's
brilliant.
Lovely. I'll see you later. Now you know how to do a live stream.
Awesome. That'll do. Class. No, listen, Mick, thanks for this. Everybody, welcome to the podcast, to the first ever live stream on YouTube. I've done. I'm going to take this off. I just realised I look like fucking your man out of AC/DC, and I don't have anyone.
I was going to wear the same hat.
Yeah.
I've opted for the camo instead.
I've got this sort of Kim Jong-un thing going on, but
look at us looking like dictators.
Yeah. We're
socialists here, like
going around the world in your favorite dictator. No, I'll get my hair cut tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Right, everybody, listen. This is the first ever live stream, and Mick very kindly. We've been threatening to talk to each other for quite a while, and Mick dropped me a message saying he was free. So I threw this together real quick. So I don't have it. Normally my podcasts, as you know, are meticulously researched. So rather than me just talking shite for half an hour, but
that's where I go for my research, mate.
But I do a bit of research. I'll be honest. But so what we're going to do. So Mick, if you don't mind, I've just jotted down a couple of topics here, and we'll just hit them, right? And I don't know how long these Zoom things last for. I think they last for as long as you want.
You can get an hour out of them. Well, it used to be that you got an hour for free and then you'd have to stop it and start it again. But I think they've actually increased that because
I think it's like if you've
they've made their billions.
I think if you've got more than 3 people or something, you're restricted. But if it's just like one-on-one, they just let you go on. Yeah. I think that's just the case. But so if it does and we're running away, we'll just shut it down, start it up again. But that's fine. So we're going. I wanted to talk to you about. We want to talk about the music industry, right? About how, badly our music industry is treating us all, and how we're struggling with making a living because we can't do anything. So I want to talk about that for a bit. I want to talk a bit about the DUP and about what's going on with Arlene and the leadership and all that. And a wee bit.
Who else but a Conlon could talk about that?
Well, there you go, and a wee bit about football as well, because I know you follow football. And a wee bit about.
Well, I don't support great teams, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Well, let me
as you can see.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, everybody's up some Parley fan, like. It's everybody's second team, isn't it? I'm just messing around myself.
Should be everyone's first team.
Yeah, well, it should be.
Right,
absolutely.
I know, there was a wee lag there.
Yeah, there was a wee lag. I was starting up a bit of software, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to shut that down. So Darren Miller. So there's our first chat. Darren Miller says, yo, all working. Okay, excellent. Darren, so if anybody's watching and they want to have a wee chat with us or want to ask us any questions or whatever, I want to ask Mick questions specifically. But I never finished my introduction. Mick is a member of String Ninjas, which is, Mick, you tell us what String Ninjas is.
Who knows? Johnny Hero asked me that same question there a few weeks ago, and I think, I don't know. String Ninjas is, we're an instrumental duo with beards, and we basically, so we don't sing at all because we can't.
Yeah.
But I'm a classical violinist, and Gavin's a fingerstyle guitar, so he's got that sort of percussive attitude, all about that groove.
Yeah.
And we basically take Metallica songs and 90s dance music and just bastardize them.
That's fucking brilliant.
That's effectively, and then people book us for their wedding. Like I was telling someone last night, I got booked for a wedding last year. Well, not last year, it would be 2 years ago now, I suppose. It was the fucking bat fiasco. But the bride wanted to be us to play the Imperial March from Star Wars as she walked down the aisle. And I was like, so that's the kind of weddings that we do.
Yeah, good weddings.
Yes, there's plenty of stout, plenty of crack. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, brilliant. That sounds fantastic. And I don't know if you know this. You're actually playing. You're playing Stendhal, right? Stendhal Festival.
Yes.
I saw that the bands were. We haven't been announced yet, but we're playing it too.
On the same day as us, Friday.
I don't know yet. I
hope it is, mate. I hope it is.
Yeah. I do too. And Chris sort of deals with all of this, but So that would be a lot of fun if we got to do that.
I hope so. I remember last year with Stendhal that, let's get into it straight away. With lockdown restrictions last year, I remember Stendhal was meant to happen. Because we played it 2 years ago, and it's our greatest ever gig. Like it launched us into a lot of people's minds, and so they wanted us back for another year. So it was looking like another great festival lineup and stuff. But obviously with lockdown restrictions, they were like, right, we're basically going to do like 10% of what we would do, but still have it in the same space. They presented the document to the Parades Commission or whoever else it was. Yeah. And they were basically just told to fuck off. And that was one of the big heartbreaks for me last year. And then on the same day, the festival was meant to happen, Van Morrison was allowed to do a gig. And I think it was down near Newcastle or something like that. And I was like, And there was a lot of people singing his praises last year because he did so much to help the music industry and he was giving out money to musicians. He never gave me a penny, mate. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck him.
But then again, I'm no brown-eyed girl. No.
So fuck him, fuck Van Morrison. Doesn't give us any money.
No, but that was a weird one. So no, I'm looking for. I hope Stendhal goes ahead because Ross and John, they're just great guys.
It's a fantastic festival. It's one of the best. We played it a few times, and we're always delighted to go back. I think it's going to be restrictions put in place, obviously, because of what's going on. But it's important that these institutions, which Stendhal is now, continue. Really, that they get their head over the parapet in whichever form they manage to do it, even in a restricted. But
music festivals traditionally aren't even money makers for the organisers.
Oh, completely,
They're usually because the organisers are fans and they want to get certain acts there.
Yeah.
So it's been bad enough for people like Stendhal and the likes of it. Not Glastonbury, that's a different, that's a BBC thing.
Yeah.
But like a proper music festival like that has no financial backing from any kind of big boys. It's just for the love.
Yeah,
and you really get that feeling when you're there because we played Stendhal 2 years ago and melted the faces of everybody. And I woke up the next morning with the biggest smile on my face. I was like, that was what it was meant to be about. And then I went to a gig in Belfast, and we played a 3-hour gig, and we didn't get one round of applause.
Oh man, this is class. I have a great story. I have a very similar. Chris and we played the first time we ever played Glasgowbury,
right?
And we played. They put us into the tent, and we were on 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we had a gig in Falcarra, that evening. So, excuse me. The plan was we were going to play the gig at the festival, jump in the car, van, whatever, drive to Falcarra, play the gig. So we played the gig, and it was our first. Just as you said, it was one of those gigs where you could sort of identify. You go, that was one of the ones where I think we arrived, where we announced.
Found our audience.
We found our the tent was rammed in my imagination with thousands and thousands of people. I'm sure there wasn't, but it was the biggest audience we'd ever played to. And they knew our songs, and they were bouncing, and they were singing our lyrics back to us, and blew us away. And we had a great gig. And we come off stage, and we thought that we'd arrived, and it was going to be the best. That was it. We were on our way, and we literally fucking sucked each other's dicks the whole way to Falcara about how great we were. Then we played the gig in Falcara, and it was the word. They were kicking the bass, they were kicking the drum kit to get to the toilet, and they hated us. We emptied the room. We literally emptied the room. We played this fucking. One of the best gigs we'd ever played at at that time in the afternoon, and then a literal. I don't even know if we're going to get through the set. It was that bad.
Shit, man. Yeah, I mean, like that's a Christ down to earth. Like it really is.
It really is.
But the thing is, as well, though, I mean, like those gigs, as much as Glasgow would have been epic for you, I'm sure that gig in Falcara at that time was more your bread and butter. Of your regular calendar dates.
Oh, absolutely. 200.
So you have to sort of sometimes go.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, nobody gets near us to kick our equipment because I usually. You see, I was a big thing. I was a big advocate of social distancing even before COVID. Because like because the thing is because of the instrument I play electric violin. So like I'm out in front of people. Like that, and as soon as they come, I'm already with a roundhouse kick and telling them to fuck off. Like, mate, because I'm like, mate, my pedal board costs more than you make a week, so don't fucking come near me.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. Those gigs, and I do remember that gig. We did get through the set. That the reason that we got through, Chris looked at me and I said, "I know what you're thinking. We're finishing this because we're getting fucking paid." Because I come from I'd been playing in a blues band for years before it, and we were fucking terrible. Not me. There was a particular individual in the band that was terrible that drug us down every night. But those gigs were like that. They were like, we just need to get through this. Just get paid. Just play the gig and get paid. And I dug into that history. You know.
Yeah, you do fight it, but that comes with experience. Because like, I remember in the early days of me playing in bands and stuff. Like I would get those sort of. Almost like those intimidation kind of vibes. I'd be like, because of the room. But then you're just like, man, I don't know, whatever. Like, we did a gig a couple of years ago in Downpatrick, and it was on the day of the All-Ireland final.
Aye.
Now, I should point out that the String Ninjas do not play Irish traditional music. Nothing against it.
Yep.
I just can't play trad fiddle. Can't do it. I can give
like
you a violin concerto.
Yeah.
I can do loads of shit, but I just can't play trad because it's a completely different thing. I can't get my head around it. For 2 hours, all I got was, would you play Celtic Symphony? Would you play the Star County Down for 2 hours? And I had a hat on, I just kept my head down. And I had guys shouting abuse at me for like just going, any chance, mate, any chance? And I just get through it. And then as soon as we hit the 2 hours, and like nobody clapped the whole way through, like we were playing all our classics, like Sandstorm and fucking Daft Punk and shit, the stuff people lose their minds over, and no one cared. We even played Zombie by the Cranberries. We didn't know how to play it. We were like, well, it's a 4-chord wonder. We'll make it up, like, you know. And like nobody cared. And then as soon as the 2 hours was finished, I put the violin in the case, and I went and got the car, drove it down the driveway, and I was like, get the fucking gear in, we're away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, as you say, I mean, the life of a gigging musician can be like that. And as I said, I played in that blues band for years, and it was near enough every gig was like that because we weren't very good. But
I miss those gigs so Andy.
You take them. Yeah,
I would give anything for that right now.
Oh, you fucking take them now. You fucking take them now.
Christ, mate, I would play anywhere. I'd play in a bin right now.
Have you anything booked? Yeah, have you anything?
Well, yes, this is the thing. So our wedding calendar, we did a lot of weddings, we did a lot of corporate stuff.
Aye.
Our wedding calendar has basically been redone 3 or 4 times in the last year or so.
Yeah.
I actually found there was somebody who we got together in 2017, 2018, we got together, and somebody booked us in 2018 to play their wedding in 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
We're now playing their wedding in 2022, but they're paying the 2018 fee because obviously as you get more popular and cost of living, everyone your fee goes up. That's just part of life, you know. If Sky can put their prices up for fucking turning out shit, why can't we?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, we're driving all that way. But it's not their fault. Like it's the client. Like they booked, they pay a deposit, and we were like, no, we transferred across. It's absolutely fine. It's not their fault.
No.
It's the DUP's fault. You know, but even like we had our main residency in Belfast was on Saturday night in the John Hewitt. Yeah. And Davey, actually, the manager, he phoned me the other day and he says, has anybody else approached you about Saturdays? And I was like, mate, yes, but you're where we want to be. And he's like, I'm glad to hear it because as soon as I can actually have yous are there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones that's like, we had 4 residencies a week in Belfast.
Really?
We had four regular gigs a week.
Holy shit.
We were doing, and then we were doing like a wedding every fortnight, sometimes 2 weddings a fortnight, and then you sprinkle a festival like the Sunflower Festival or Hildon or Stand Hall. So like we were busy. We were always busy. And then like we would try and put on our own like original music shows as well. I say our compositions, Gavin, he writes, and then I just come in and go and put a bit of wah or something over it and go, there you go. Because my compositions are shite, but he's really, really talented at that.
Okay.
So no, like we were literally on the ascendancy. Like we were getting fucking people from like all over the world wanting to book us for the weddings and random. Like, can you come to Lisbon? We're getting married in a vineyard. I'm like, sure, no problem.
Absolutely.
But, you know, lockdown happened, so all that went to shit.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll pick back up again. But yeah, we're very, very similar. We booked the same 2 or 3 times last year, and then we quit. We just went, that's it. We're not booking anything.
Yeah.
So Johnny McKee, he booked us. He's now got us booked on a UK and Ireland tour. I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's for December. But you don't know if it's going to happen.
It's very hard.
You just don't know. But we let Johnny do that. He asked to do it. He was asking to do it for a while, and we said, "Listen, you just push on, do what you want," and because that way, then if it falls through, we haven't invested any time into it. And you know yourself, booking is very time consuming.
In fact, I was doing that just before I came on here. It was like, because it's like every time there's an announcement, the inbox just blows up going, oh, here, do you remember the way we rescheduled our date 3 times? Can we go back to that one?
Aye.
And because obviously, but they're like people trying to get their florist and their caterer and their venue and everything to sync up, and you're like, fuck. So,
fuck, aye, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I did have a couple of people actually come back to us and go, this is at the start of last year, like, oh, here, we know you are unemployed, no, you have no money, but can we get our £100 deposit back? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's not how deposits work, mate. They are non-refundable. You're to hold a date.
Yeah.
And you'll transfer it, but it's not for.
Yeah.
It's like I'm pretty sure when you book the fucking Sleeved Honor and they charge you a $10,000 deposit, they're not giving it back. So don't be coming at me.
Oh, the fuck! Oh, the fuck! Here, so where was the 4 residencies in Belfast that you had? Where were those?
We had so John Hewitt was the main one. We played the Aracle on a Wednesday. Then the Fitzwilliam Hotel would have us for cocktail hours on a Friday, and then we used to play in Bullet Hotel, which is one of the Biancore ones, one of Mr. Wolesley's.
Yeah.
Down on Church Lane.
Yeah.
And we would have been a Wednesday and then a Friday, and then we'd have done Bullet, and then John Hewitt double booked on a Saturday. But like sometimes like a wedding would come up and Bullet would lose out because we'd have to do the wedding.
I understand.
The John Hewitt was always the one that we would.
Yeah.
I think we missed the John Hewitt in like 3 years. We missed 2 gigs or something like that there. You know, so.
Yeah.
But no, I do miss them dearly, and like the John Hewitt was definitely. Like that was our home. I mean, I've been a regular in there as a drinker for years.
Aye.
And I always joke the manager. Well, it's a cracking pub. The manager only gave us a gig because he knew he'd get the money from me back in the till.
Aye.
But then there's 2 plaques on the stage that we play on. One's for C6 Steve and one's for Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
And it's to commemorate their gigs there. Because both of them, their first ever gigs in Ireland were the John Hewitt.
I remember that. I remember the C6 Steve one.
Yeah, and
it was a part of.
I think where's our plaque?
Yeah, I think that was a part of the. Oh shit! What do you call that? I can't remember.
Belfast Blues Festival.
Was it that or was it?
I
Was it
think
that?
he was part of the Belfast Blues,
Uh,
or was it the Cathedral Quarter Arts? Maybe I don't know.
oh shit! What was it? Kieran thingy?
One, I mean, it's one of
Yeah,
those.
aye,
Yeah, yeah.
but either way, yeah, John Hewitt's class place. And do you think those other venues they're looking at opening up? Are they going to be going back to normality soon? Are they talking to
Well,
you about that?
uh,
Or
well, this is the thing. It's kind of hard. Nobody's really talking to anybody because, like, I'm not slagging anybody off at all. Because
no?
like all musicians are saying the same thing. It's like if the businesses have been hit so hard anyway,
Yeah,
the entertainment's way down on the list.
yeah,
Now I know, like, I have friends who were like venues went to them, right? We're opening on 30th of May and,
yeah,
or 30th of April, and then we're doing 24th of May for indoor. Could we book you for X, Y, and Z? And
yeah,
like I had loads of people going, yeah, no problem, that's sweet. And then they were all posting their dates up.
yeah.
But then it was a couple of days before, it was last week. That's what it was. It was last Friday. And not Friday there, Friday before, that they announced, oh yeah, live music's still banned, by the way, in hospitality.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Well, sure. Isn't that what happened?
Shit.
Isn't that what happened with the Morn Seafood Bar and the Sunflower and a couple?
Well, no. What happened with them was that they were basically, it was their outside areas were deemed unfit.
Aye, but it was the
Even
same.
though they were deemed fit the first time.
It was like it was the last minute nature of it that really fucked them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just poured myself a Guinness here.
Work away.
But you see the thing also, I mean, like on that, there's I know you're down in Lurgan, so you probably don't know like all the gossip and stuff up in Belfast.
No.
But there's a wee restaurant in St Anne's Square called, oh shit, actually I've forgotten. It's a wee Bangladeshi restaurant.
I know it.
So they opened
Yeah.
basically last year just before lockdown, and they created like these pods.
Right.
These just for like you bring your bubble into this bubble,
Oh.
and then this is how you get served, and they're class. And a few months back, Diane Dodds came down and had the press there to go, I endorse this, me, progressive, and all that there. And then she was the one that said last week, well, by the way, you can't use them.
Oh, fuck me. Typical. That's fucking
like,
typical.
What the fuck?
It's unfucking believable. It really is. But this is I mean, I got a pint yesterday for the first time in whatever amount of months it is in my local here. It's just a few 100 meters around the corner, the Woodville. I was sitting with mate Richie, who's in my bubble, and I'm vaccinated now. By the way, I'm fully vaxxed. I've got 5 genes.
Me too.
I've installed because I'm a foster carer. I'm a carer. Me and my wife foster two.
Yes.
Well, not foster, but children in care. We've got 2 pair of
You got guardianship, is it?
guardianship. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
2 kids. So
I'd heard you talk about that a few weeks ago.
yeah. So we've got that. So we ended up getting sort of fast tracked because, and I felt a bit guilty about it, but it was explained to me, no, because if you go down with COVID, the human resource needed to take those 2 children, basically put them in quarantine, and then look after them for whatever length of time it takes, is fucking enormous. It's literally huge. So yous are going. It's important for us that yous get vaccinated as quickly as possible. Then, hopefully, that doesn't happen. But I was around watching the football. I was supposed to be around watching the football match yesterday with my mate Richie and Joe. Obviously, got called off. So our local here, they have a tiny little beer. It's not so much a beer garden as a smoking area, really. And we thought it was going to be rammed. So when the match wasn't on, Richie says, give the Woodville a ring and see if we can get into the beer garden. So Kathy, the manager, yeah, Andy, come around. How many of you is there? I said 3. That'll do. Went around. Oh my God, the best pints I've ever had. I had 3 pints. Fuck me. I was nearly crying. It was emotional.
Yeah.
The first one, I took a photograph and stuck it on Instagram like some sort of a fucking.
Yes. Mate, that was a stunning looking
It really was, wasn't it? Yeah, but
I was like, Guinness will be contacting you looking for like rights to that image.
It was perfect. I mean, fucking perfect. I got 3 of them, and then I had the bail, but I could have sat there for the rest of my fucking life.
Mate, I still haven't had pints yet.
Really?
Since the part. Well, what it is right. So my main drinking holes would have been the John Hewitt,
Aye.
the Sunflower, and Madden's, and all 3 were told they couldn't open.
What? Madden's doesn't have an outside area, does it?
It did. It did at the last time the lockdown eased, mate.
Did it? And the toll Maddens.
This is the thing. They're just pulling these. Right. Okay. So in Crumlin, just outside of Belfast, there's a couple of bars in the town. There's the Fiddler's Inn. There's a Crooked Glen, and I can't remember the other one. I have family up there outside of the town.
Aye.
On Friday, when the bars are at the open, so Thursday, like this is what was happening. Wednesday and Thursday, the council was going around doing the checks.
Yes.
Or the cops were, whoever was doing it. And on Thursday, they were told, you're dead on to go.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, they came back like 20 minutes before they were meant to open and went, actually, you can't. Because, so all these bars are operating with, all these bars have car parks, like enclosed car parks, they're their own property.
Uh-huh.
But because their license only covers up to a certain amount of the premises, and they had all gone and bought tables and chairs and all this shit. Now, I know, like I spent 20 years in hospitality. I understand the legality of the licensing act and stuff. I know all about it.
That actually explains a lot to me, because I have questions. I was asking questions about that. Sorry to interrupt you. Going ahead.
No, you're okay. So, it's like, I understand that that's what the term licensed premises comes from.
Yes.
That's why there's this. So there's a lot of people like in Crumlin kicking up stinking about Belfast, going, but the streets are packed with people drinking, and they're not exactly packed, because even in Belfast, like there's certain areas, like, do you know White's Tavern? Right. So White's Tavern was bought over last year by the guys who own the jailhouse in Henry's, which used to be McCracken's way back in the day, and O'Neill's before that. So they had basically, what they had done with White's was there was like a disused bit, at the front on the high street where like the Bank of Ireland is opposite Dunn's. Yeah. It was like a disused bit. So they basically cleared it out, and then they built like an outdoor area. But it's like, you got wooden sort of sliding doors and stuff like that there. And it looks class. But they weren't allowed to use that, and it's just like the Sunflower. Even though the Sunflower has, do you know the Sunflower beer garden?
I do know. I know it well. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was actually watching that news report with my mum.
Yeah.
And she goes, after the news report, she was like, so why can't they open?
See, this is
because all I could see was the sky.
Of all the places,
like,
of all the places,
it goes up,
of all the
places, it's got four walls.
Of all the places, I was happy for the Sunflower, because I'm a customer. I love the fucking place. Yeah. When I go to Belfast for pints, I always go to the Sunflower. I always go to Madden's too, by the way. John Hewitt, and try to get down to the American bar as well if I can. But the Sunflower and Madden's would be the two main ones that I would really go out of my way to visit. And of all the fucking places, you're going, the Sunflower's going to be grand. This is going to be great because they have such a well-appointed beer garden area. It's class, and then they don't get fucking opened. It's insane.
But Andy, the thing is, like, this see all this shit that happened last week with the restrictions and all. Like, this isn't even a new thing. So see, last year, whenever lockdown happened on the 16th of March or something like that. So you had like was it July? I think it was July when bars started to open up again. Yeah. But before then, a lot of bars were doing takeaway pints and stuff. Yeah. So the Sunflower was doing takeaway drink. Like every bar in Belfast turned themselves in the off license because they were like, all this stock, our suppliers won't take it back. Yeah. Let's do something with it. Yeah. So I'll show you here. I actually bought this. It's a 3-liter growler. I got off Amazon. Right. And so basically I would go down to the Sunflower a couple of times a week and go and give them 15 quid and they'd put a load of pints in it. Aye. Or you'd buy whatever that I had. So that was grand. Yeah. So they did that for ages, and then the bars opened. Yeah. Then everybody got shut down again. So they're like, well, we'll go back and do this again. Yeah. So I went down one day with my growler. My mate had one. Like a couple of people wanted theirs filled up. I was like, right, I'll go get them. Send me the money. Yeah. And I go down and I pull up to the Sunflower in the car, and there's a cop standing outside talking to Bob, the general manager. And I was like, okay, I'll just sit here. I'll just let it be. I won't go in just yet, because my mate had the same growler as me with a sticker that said "fuck cops" on it. And I thought, I'll just stand back here, because I was wearing a St. Pauli hoodie as well, and I was like, we'd already been declared as like a terrorist group by fucking MI5. I'm just gonna sit here, just cutting when I got there. Unbelievable. So anyway, the cop goes away, and then I go to the thing, and I was like, can I get my thing? And they're like, nah, Mick. So we've been issued with like a fine. Basically, the reason is so they were doing takeaway pints. Someone had been and bought takeaway pints and then walked around the corner on the Royal Avenue and started drinking them. cop seen them. I said, "Where'd you get those from?" And they went, "Sunflower." So because their takeaway pints was not sealed by the manufacturer, so like a can is or a bottle is, they were illegally selling drink. But he argued, he was like, "Mate, we weren't the last time.
Yeah.
So what's different this time?" And this is exactly the same thing as happened with the smoking areas. Like, everyone's like, "But we were okay the last time."
Yeah.
And if you're going to talk about R rates and shit, and like everyone's getting vaccinated, so surely everything's getting better.
But
why are we now getting shit on even?
But does
more?
this not beg the question? Exactly, why are we getting shit on? Does this not beg the question that it's an ideological choices that are being made because these people don't want pubs to open at all? They don't want pubs.
Andy, I don't know what your audience is like. I hope I don't offend anybody, but this is why Christians shouldn't be trusted with science, because this is what happens. Because but it is bullshit.
Of course, it's bullshit.
I don't understand. Like, for example, like, see the music thing. Like, no disrespect to any other musicians, because I have many friends who are, but I'm an instrumental musician. I don't even sing. So if they're talking about that whole spitting thing that comes from your mouth when you sing, I don't fucking sing it. I play the violin. But there's no COVID getting spread here.
Well, exactly. But
I mean?
This is the point, Mick. It's the same thing with the bars and the restaurants being given. They're being given mixed messaging. The same people that were telling us last year that they didn't fucking believe in COVID, and if COVID did exist, it was a punishment from God for fucking being gay. Or something like that, and
up a queers,
absolutely up a queers, and but these same people are now making the decisions that aren't allowing the Sunflower Bar. I read the statement that the Sunflower put out. I was absolutely fucking heartbroken for them, and the people that I was most sorry for was he said, "We've employed people who now can't get furlough because." This is a new job, and you only get furlough once you
have to have been working somewhere for so long.
You have to have been working somewhere for so long, and they're not going to qualify. But just because of what? It's shocking. It really is absolutely fucking shocking. And this is it again. These are the people that are in charge of the fucking country. I am delighted personally. I'm delighted that the DUP are in trouble. It makes me feel good because they're so vile and they're so backward, and I don't want them to be. I'm an Irish nationalist. It's important to me that if anyone listens to my podcast, they know I say this all the time. My PUL brothers and sisters need to be represented in Ireland, and whenever if Ireland unites, that's important. If it doesn't, that's important. Either way, we need everybody needs to be represented, and that the best that you can fucking drag up out of your fucking the sewers is that lot. It's beyond belief, because they clearly don't represent anybody. They're ideologically, my God, I wouldn't even say the Middle Ages. They're way back beyond that, and they're the same people that are making these decisions that are stopping everybody going to work. I get it. Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist in any way whatsoever. I follow the science. If the scientists say you can do this, you can do that, I'm going to go with it. That's what the thing.
Yeah.
For Diane Dodds and people like her to be making those decisions to stop venues like the John Hewitt or the Sunflower Bar or Madden's from doing exactly what they were doing 6 months ago, it is insane. It's absolutely mental. It's absolutely mental.
Yeah.
We had my local around here, the Woodville. It was opened last year a few times, just as a lot of the bars were, and they said, okay, you can only come in, you have to sit in your bubble and your wee table there, and it's table service only, and so on and so forth. And as far as I am aware, no COVID. I mean, I live around the corner from the place. I'm a member of the local community. You hear everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing. No one got COVID from going to the bar.
Do you want a statistic?
Go for it, I do, yeah.
Right. You know that whole, like, me and you both agree, because I listen to your podcast, so like I know a lot of the values that you have. Do you know when you talk about the vaccine rollout?
Yes.
The NHS ran that. The government didn't run it, but the government had taken credit for it.
Yes.
But the government ran the track and trace app, but they're blaming the NHS for it, even though they had nothing to do with it.
They call it the NHS test and trace system, and it's nothing to do
exactly.
with it. But they don't call the vaccine rollout the NHS vaccine rollout.
I personally think Matt Hancock and his mates were trying to create their own Tinder. And that's what happened. But the statistic that I read from their reports was in Northern Ireland last year. Whenever everything opened up, and then so between it opening up and getting closed again, 0.1% of all positive cases from the tracing app could be connected to indoor hospitality venues. 0.1%.
Are you fuck?
So then, if you take the statistic of now here, if someone wants to say that I'm wrong and prove me wrong, go ahead. But you just said yourself, Andy, in the town that you live in, everybody went to the pub, and nobody got it. Because the thing is, it's because they keep forgetting. See, if you don't want to go to the pub, you don't have to go to the pub. See if you feel unsafe about going to the supermarket or whatever. Because by the way, see if they'd shut down Tesco's and Sainsbury's and Asda before they shut down anything else. This would have been sorted out a lot faster.
I agree.
Those bits are like a cesspit.
I agree.
Absolute cesspit.
I agree.
But I mean, there's people who don't go out. Right, so I haven't been to as I said, I haven't been to the pub yet. But that's literally out of loyalty. Like Filthy McNasty's in town.
Yeah.
Apparently didn't pay their staff.
Apparently, I heard that.
Used the money from their grant.
I was fucking rammed.
To do a refurb or whatever.
Rammed all weekend.
Whatever, I don't know exactly. And I was driving. I was driving through Carrickfergus yesterday, and the Weatherspoons in Carrick. Place was packed outside, and I was like, and you know what? It wasn't even packed with scumbags.
Yeah. It
was packed with your the sort of the PUL kind of people that you want to be represented, not the scum. Because I'm from Ardoyne, I grew up in North Belfast, so I see those ones who were all going, I'm ranting against Bobby Story because I never arrested him and all that shit. I know those people because I grew up around them.
Yeah.
But so the people that you often talk about that you want to be properly represented, they're sitting outside of Weatherspoons.
But Mick does
a £2 pint of piss.
But that is exactly the point, Mick. And this is where we all are across society.
I'm gonna run for office.
You should. You need to run. I keep getting told this too, but I said no fucking way.
My dad says that all the time. Apparently I'm too political when I give an answer.
I couldn't do it. Imagine having to sit through a fucking council meeting or some boring shite.
It corrupts everybody.
It completely does. But this is a part of the problem, and it's. Listen, there's no point in me telling you this. I'm talking to the audience here because you know this, we know this. We need to unite along socialist working class lines and park the Protestant, Catholic, Irish, British, whatever thing. It's all to do with the working class. It's all to do with your class. As I keep saying, we're in a class war. The problem is there's only one side fighting it. The working class don't know they're in a class war and they're getting kicked to death. And that's simply it. No. And whenever
they're getting divided and conquered.
They get divided and conquered, exactly. And whenever they go to places like Weatherspoons, I get it. Okay, a cheap pint. You get it. But really, you know this is happening. You know what Weatherspoons has done. I know you know what they've done, and you're going there anyway. You know. And listen, I've used Weatherspoons when we were on the road. We were on tour in England and Scotland and Wales, and you're there, and there's a cheap breakfast for you, and you're on the road. You're trying to make money, going, but that's it. Those days are over. I'll never set foot in one of those places again. Purely because I knew he was a horrible cunt anyway, but purely because of the way that he's behaved over this COVID thing. You know, it's disgusting, and that is exactly what the working class need to be doing. You need to understand everything that you're doing is a choice, and you're making choices that are actively undermining your present and your children's futures whenever you're doing these things.
Totally. People need to remember stuff. But the thing is, people might listen to me and you say this stuff and go, fuck, you aren't progressive at all. No. We are. You can't know who you are until you know where you came from.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just because we're I'm not saying like us hating on Weatherspoons and people like that there. It doesn't equate to the same thing as white people are still sectarian.
Yeah. No. It's
those people, you're like, right, you need to because the thing is as well, man. I had this conversation with my dad recently.
Yeah.
So I grew up as a Catholic in Ardoyne.
Yeah.
Okay. When I studied history at school, I was taught about both sides of the coin.
Okay.
because like no matter where you go to school in Northern Ireland, it's the same It's the same curriculum. It's the same educating authority. Effectively, we all sit the same exam.
Yeah.
But it was only when I became an adult that I learned that I understood things that my Protestant friends didn't. Like, why do you like the bonfires on the 11th night?
Yeah.
And they go, I don't know. And I'm like, because they lit the way to battle for King William. That's what it is. And also, by the way, he wasn't 6'4", because nobody at that time was 6'4".
No.
Do you know? And then, like, I mean, I think I tweeted something the other week, and it had you in stitches, and I was like, whenever loyalists are told that their whole belief system is based upon republicanism, their mind just goes like that there, because they don't understand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I was taught that at school. I was also taught about the whole, like the IRA and stuff like that there, and the hunger strikes, and the whole shit. So I'm like, why was I taught that?
Yeah.
And I meant to be whoever I meant to be.
Yeah.
And then, like, my mate, who's 5 minutes down the road, who grew up in Petershill in the Shankill, doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And then now you're getting Protestants going. Not all Protestants.
I know what you're saying. It's all
good people. I just mean the wee scrubs going, we're second-class citizens. I'm like, you don't know what second-class citizenship is, mate.
Yeah. Well, you
have had an afternoon of it. You are like America. America blew up the world because you are 250 years old. You don't have a history.
Yeah. Exactly, but this is.
I
do know exactly what you mean, Mick, and this is exactly the point. I mean,
this podcast is going to get me shot.
Oh, me too. Listen, I'm fully. I mean, the things I've said in my podcast over this past year, over lockdown, I fully expect to be fucking booed off stage in some gigs I play. But my point is that lack of understanding of real history, of real, like the very. It's a point that is on topic. The centenary of Northern Ireland, the formation of Northern Ireland, why Northern Ireland came to be in the first place, is understood by so few people these days, and it's important that people know what Northern Ireland is. I was listening to. I think I tweeted out. Remember when Micheál Martin was interviewed by Claire Daly on the RTE thing there the other week? And Jamie Bryson was a guest, and Mary Lou was a guest, and there was a few. Leo was a guest, and but the top interview was for Micheál Martin, and he said something. You can't deal with the problem of Northern Ireland until you deal with the sectarianism, right? Which basically means that you can't do anything about Northern Ireland because sectarianism is probably always going to exist within our lifetimes anyway. But my friend Rory Craney, who actually works for Sinn Féin down in Kildare, he said that showed Micheál Martin up. He had a complete lack of understanding about what the north of Ireland is. The north of Ireland is a sectarian state. If you want to deal with the sectarianism in Northern Ireland, you have to deal with the state. The state itself is sectarian. It was set, as in, it was founded upon sectarian values. And it stayed that way for a very, very long time. We're not talking 5 or 10 years, a very long time. No. I mean, you could argue right up until the Good Friday Agreement, but and that was the point. Whenever you're saying about dealing with the sectarian, so that was Rory's point. My point was people don't understand why Northern Ireland came to be, and again, I found it very. There was a synchronicity between the formation of Northern Ireland, the centenary, and then what the Tories have done to the DUP just this year. So it's the centenary of Northern Ireland where the fucking Ulster Unionists got screwed by the Tories again for the first time, the first major time in the last century. Yeah. And then on the centenary year, they've done it again. And that simple history, connectivity, that synchronicity between those two events is still not being. I don't think it's being given enough weight within all the community, but primarily within the PUL community. I would like to say, I personally would like to see them say, "Listen, we're getting screwed here. We keep getting screwed, and we keep doing this. Why do we keep asking ourselves these questions? Instead, it's Bobby Story's fault, or the Bobby Story's funeral's fault, which is plainly and demonstrably nonsense."
But Andy, as well, it's like anything. It's like anything that annoys you about anything that's going on in the world. The mainstream media always have control about what you hear and what you
Of
see.
course.
So when you've got like people like, apparently we're not allowed to say his name. Your man who works for the BBC in Northern Ireland, apparently we're not allowed to say his name because you get in trouble. But when you
Oh,
got people like him saying
yeah,
things, and like it's basically who spent a year just turning the
yeah.
screwdriver, and then that all happens. You're like, I mean, I'm not surprised that. Like I saw those pictures of Coleraine, was it 2 days
Uh-huh.
ago? I am not surprised that those people are out.
No,
I don't blame those people. Do you know why? Because they've been manipulated.
but
I mean, I mean, they are thick from birth. Like they have no way. Like they're not well educated
but if there
people.
was a
But then the
coherent
people they're preyed
message,
upon, because that's what
yeah.
happens. Is people, those people in power who have their own
There's no,
agenda,
but there's no
manipulate
coherent
them.
message. There's literally nothing there. You're sitting there talking about we want rid of the Northern Ireland Protocol. So what you're saying to me is because I was set up in a sectarian state, and this goes back. This is why loyalism has this idea that it can make demands, and those demands get met because
Yeah.
of the primacy of them within the state. And you're saying to me, you want to renegotiate a minority of a sectarian cult in the off the western tip of Europe and way out into the Atlantic Ocean, want to renegotiate a multi-billion euros, multi-billion pounds, and multi-billion dollar trade deals in order to do what? And they literally can't name it. They can't say anything. They can't name anything. And this is why it's so...
Because they were never told what they were against. They just heard a catchphrase.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
They were like, "Oh, here, that'll look good on a poster
Yeah.
with 6 fingers."
Yeah.
Did you see the 6 fingers?
But this is the point, Mick, and it actually does sadden me because, as again, I'm listening to the new conversations that are coming out at the minute about New Ireland and a shared Ireland, and it excites me. It does genuinely excite me, and obviously, the unionists and the loyalists and everybody else all need to be a part of that, and they need to have a voice. I also understand why maybe if you're a unionist or a loyalist, you don't want to start to having the conversation because it's almost maybe it might feel like a little bit like you're admitting defeat, and you will be called a Lundy for a start. But so I do get that. But the thing that I don't get, and this is where I find the unionist and loyalist stance to be so it's infuriating for a start, but incoherent and childish. You are sitting in a unique position where Northern Ireland could be that bridge between Europe and the UK, Europe and the US, and Europe and the rest of the world. Northern Ireland, best educated dole queue in the world, infrastructure links, most importantly, the sympathy of the world because of our history. Europe have already said this. We wouldn't give this deal to anybody else. Only Northern Ireland got this for a couple of reasons. One, because of our location, our geographical location. Two, because our population is so small. And three, because of our history, because they were felt sorry for us. The Scottish MSPs are saying they would bite their fucking arm off to get the Northern Ireland deal. They would literally bite the Northern Ireland. And we're sitting here, and unionism, instead of celebrating, so instead of saying, let us convince you why you should, because it's the middle ground that is going to make the decision. I've made my mind up. You've probably made your mind up. Certain others on the other side have made their mind up, and they're not going to vote for United Ireland no matter what. It's always going to be the middle ground that's got the remain to be convinced, right? So unionism should be saying, let's put money in your pocket. Let's show you how being a part of this union is going to benefit you. It's going to actively, physically benefit you within your own lifetime. Before the year's out, we're going to bring jobs to Belfast. We're going to bring jobs to Derry. We're going to develop the West. We're going to go to England and say, all you businesses that have to shut down and lay people off because you can't export into Europe, we've got a lovely office for you in Belfast, boy. Get you over here, right? That's what they should be doing. And what are they doing instead? Nothing. They're not doing anything. But they expect us to go. It's like everybody. I don't mean us as an Irish nationalist. I mean everybody in Northern Ireland to go. Aye, we'll just carry on and do this. And whilst we're looking at them fail.
I know, like you keep, you say this all the time, and I agree with you. You've voted for this shit.
You've voted for this.
So fucking just.
Man, listen.
See the DUP. The DUP could become the flux capacitor that we've all been waiting for, and bring us to the future.
It could be. It's there. I mean, it's there to be done. You're absolutely correct. By the way, let me tell you this. And if
you don't know what a flux capacitor is, stop the podcast right now. Go look it up.
And Kenny, and fucking Kenny visited Downing Street and warned David Cameron about Brexit and the Northern Ireland border. And I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do, we were going on about the border in Northern Ireland all the way through the whole, and it never got mentioned until the last year. We go on about it, because for us this is a live issue, and it's been so active, it's been there, it's been at the forefront of political discussion on this island for such a long time. But in the rest of the UK, it's not the same. We were warning, and Kenny warned David Cameron, listen, if you lose this, you need to have a fucking something in place to deal with the border issue, because it's a fucking biggie. You know what I mean? Yeah. And completely ignored. Nothing happened. They did nothing. And yet here we are, and whose fault is it? Fucking Bobby Story's fault, Sinn Féin's fault, Mary Lou McDonald's fault, everybody's fault.
All the gays' fault. All the gay. No, sorry, it's live music's fault.
Yeah, the gay live musicians. That's who. That's your fault. It's all their faults. So, but
it's because I won't play Irish traditional music. The DUP are fucking pissed off.
Fucking raging. But this is the point, and it
I'm more of a fucking unionist than they are.
Yeah, exactly. But it is genuinely unfucking believable. It's staggering. Yeah. But
we laugh about it, but it is.
It's very serious. It's very serious.
Worrying, and it's I mean, I lived in England for 9 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I was finding very strange with this whole, because it's almost like they're running scared, going, "Oh, well, how can we be? We can't be British in the United Ireland." Like,
well, you're Irish. I'm Irish in Britain.
I lived with a guy. Right?
I'm Irish in Britain.
Flatmate. Exactly, you know. But I had a flatmate in England who was from Larne, and his uncle was a DUP councillor. Did that halt our friendship? No. We were great friends.
Of course.
We took the piss out of each other.
Of course.
We drank together.
Of course.
It was all good.
Of course.
And it was the first time I ever heard anybody say this. This is 2001 now, going back. And he referred to himself not as Irish and not as British, but as Northern Irish. And I thought to myself, that's very. That sounds like that's very progressive of you, because you don't hear that term being thrown around.
Yeah.
Like obviously now, like Carl Frampton would be the guy that people would associate with being Northern Irish, because you see him, he's in Tigers Bay wearing a gaff top. You know, he
goes and gets a hurdle
because he's amazing. Because Carl Frampton's class, and what a great guy, and great ambassador for this country. But it's that whole fear. But then that doesn't surprise me. Like, all right, I'm going to touch on something a bit personally. Okay. So, Christmas time, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
So they were like, right, we think we'll call it early so we can get you in for surgery. Okay. And we're like, oh, happy days, when? And they were like 6 weeks or something like that. We're like, oh, fucking hell, that's quick. Yeah. But then, because of COVID and all this shit, we're hearing rumblings of like there'll be delays in cancer treatments and stuff, and we're like, oh fuck, because you don't want the delay, because obviously things can get worse and stuff. Edwin Poots announced that he has kidney cancer. He has some kind of cancer somewhere on his torso. And then he came out and he was like, I think it's a disgrace that there's delays and blah, 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 blah. And it caused this mass hysteria. Like, it caused my family a lot of panic. Because we were like going, fucking hell, if my dad doesn't get this surgery here, like, you know, oh my God. Yeah. That bastard already knew he was going private. but still made a point of making a political fucking platform for himself
Yeah.
to heighten his profile
Yeah.
about something like cancer.
But
Now,
yeah.
I'm pleased to say that my dad's surgery was only delayed by about 2 weeks.
Well, yeah.
He's still with us.
Mm.
He's going through his chemo and stuff, and
How old is he? How's your father?
we're on the journey. We're on the journey.
How old's your father?
69.
Okay. Right. Well.
So like, but he's going through the treatment. I'm not getting into it. That's it.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was whenever like us as a family were trying to process all that emotion, and like going, fuck here, what? Because 9 times out of 10, most people I know who have been diagnosed with any kind of cancer fucking die of it.
Yeah.
So when you hear that, you're like, oh my god,
especially
that's the worst thing in the world.
Especially one like that.
Yeah, and then a guy, I think it's my dad quit smoking 30 years ago.
Oh God.
And and it's like, but that's another story for another. We'll do another podcast.
But
it was whenever he came out and he said those things, even though he knew he was going private.
But that is
that's
indicative to me, Mick, of the naivety, the political naivety of the DUP and Ulster Unionism. Now, they were never as bad, obviously, but it's that inability to seemingly play the to get the fucking front page headline, to get the photo op, to do the right thing, to play the political game in order to do whatever it is your political agenda, achieve whatever it is your political agenda is. And that's what the DUP continually fail to do. Continually. And that's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. And by the way, I have regarding his health condition.
Absolutely.
I've got nothing my Evan puts.
Absolutely.
Hope you recover well.
Nobody wishes anybody
to be that, that just.
And is that how your family saw that, as being a nasty, vindictive thing that he did, or?
It's definitely was how I saw it.
You saw it, okay?
Because there was a panic because what was happening was like whenever, for anybody who's listening, who's ever been through the process, you get your diagnosis, and then there's like a right, come in for this scan, and then you go for this assessment, you do this, and da 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 da.
Aye.
And things were just sort of slowing up a wee bit.
Okay.
And then he said what he said, and then we're making it about us because we're like, well, it's not like a Catholic Protestant thing, but we're going, no. Oh my god, because we need to get him in the hospital. We need something cut out of him.
Yes, of course.
But the fact that if he had never come out and said that, I knew there was, because I'd heard things in the news about delays possible with COVID and all. I heard that, but when he came, he made it very personal because I was like, there's somebody who is literally, he's like, I'm going through the same, even though he knew he had a financial way out of it because he had the money to go private.
Yeah.
And he did go private. Yeah. Why did he have to comment on again, another politician shitting on the NHS for doing nothing wrong?
Yeah, well, exactly. This is it, exactly.
And it was so we definitely, it affected us. We were like, oh my god, because you don't know. It's like, who the fuck's going to tell you otherwise? You can't phone up like the head of the Belfast Trust and go, here, mate, any chance you can put my dad on the top of the list? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Unless you have money, but he went and he goes.
Well,
it was that.
This is the thing as well, and it's. I understand, I sympathise with your family. I wish your father, all the best of health. God willing, he'll.
Sorry to
no,
bring it
no,
up,
not at all. No,
absolutely.
Listen, this is weird to talk about these things, but I had a very similar. I had with my wife. My wife was years ago. It was maybe 15 years ago or more. We had an incident, an instance where we had to go and get private cure because the NHS couldn't provide it, and it was a cancer thing. We had to go and it was nothing. It turned out it was not, but we had to go and get the checkups done privately, and we had to pay for that, which was for. I literally remember writing a check. It was back when you had a checkbook, and I literally wrote a check, and I didn't have the money in the bank account to pay it for the check. But the private cure was.
That's what being a second class citizen.
Well, there you go, and the exactly, and the care that she received was world class. I mean, we were in and out in a few hours, and with results and everything. We didn't have the phone back the next day. It was like, no, everything's okay. You're fine. Don't worry about it. The NHS couldn't provide us any of that, and this is a part of the problem too, where we have the NHS being used for political purposes, just as you've illustrated. That's a very personal one for yourself. It's it's bigger than that across the board. But the NHS is, I personally say this, if you've listened to my podcast, I'm sure you've heard me say it, I think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. There's nothing else like it has ever existed. This idea. And when they did it at the end of World War II, when the country was on its knees, didn't have a penny, and this is what they did. They said, no, we're doing this. And they did it. And by the way, Tories voted against it, but they managed to get it through, and they made it work. Now, this is being used as an example of why we shouldn't have a United Ireland because of the NHS. But as I keep pointing out, if you're using that as an example of the NHS, you're failing to understand the privatisation that's already taken place in the NHS. The NHS has been gutted. No one's going to stick a sign outside a hospital and saying the NHS for sale. It's been gutted from the inside out. And all these little services are getting farmed out to American corporations. And this is a part of, again, bringing it back to Brexit. What do you think the British government, when they're talking about a trade deal with the USA, what do you think they're talking about? They're talking about the NHS. That's what they mean. They don't say it. They say just the opposite. They're liars. And this is the point. And this is why we need to have something. And our solution, and this is what I would like to see. I would like to see our PUL brothers and sisters say, okay, if we're going to go down this route, what's important? John Hume says you can't eat a flag. Right? We'll understand that. What's important? Your health is your wealth. Let's have an all-island NHS. Then we can talk. And I'd like to see, and they could do that. They would have the moral, almost the moral authority to say, let's do this. Then if a United Ireland or a shared Ireland or a new Ireland, or depending on what it ends up looking like, comes into place, they can say, we did that. We gave you that. And they can stand on their high horse and go, aren't we great, and all the rest of it. And I go, well done, yes, you are absolutely fucking brilliant. And that's what you should be doing. That's one of the things I think that should be getting done. And then use the current NHS demolition as an example of how we can do it better. You know?
Oh, I think it's almost like you should be in charge.
Well, yeah,
but I know you don't want
when it's my turn, because
that's why we pay our taxes for fuckless to do it.
I will be a great and benevolent dictator. Here, Mick, listen, I think we should wrap this up, brother. I've really enjoyed talking to you, though.
No worries, we'll do a football.
We'll do it again. Definitely, we'll do it again. This has been great. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been brilliant. In my first live stream, I hope it worked out, everybody.
Congratulations. Now you know what to do.
Yeah. Oh, I was panicking earlier on. I'm determined to get this live stream thing sort of working a little bit better, but because it is important, and it's good. I would like to see more Northern Irish, north of Ireland Irish political discussion and commentators at street level, with people like us having the without having this, because I listen to so many podcasts and about American politics and English politics and honest to God, I'm an expert on American politics, and I couldn't tell you how the fucking doll works. And that's the truth. And but most people are. And there's a girl called Naomi O'Leary. She does a brilliant podcast called The Irish Passport, and she's a correspondent. She's a European correspondent now for the Irish Times. And when the American election was going on, she tweeted out, she's absolutely brilliant. She tweeted out, people in the middle of Louth going on about recounts in some little county in the middle of Utah and knowing the name of the local mayor and why he's connected, but they couldn't tell you how the European Parliament works.
I know. But that's like anything, like, like even when we were kids, like what did you see on TV?
Exactly.
American, American colony.
There's a reason for that. Absolutely, there's absolutely a very cogent reason for that. That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you very much, man. And if you'd be so kind, well, I'd love to do this again. I'd like to have more.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Man, I could talk for hours, except I need to go to the toilet. You can't take a break in relation.
there you go.
Because I had 2 cans of Guinness and I was opening the bottle of wine in the hour. So yeah.
Well, I'm
go.
just going to plug a couple of local breweries here. So we northbound there. I think they're from Derry. I think.
Yeah, Northbound.
And Kinnicker. I think they're from Donegal, are they?
Donegal. Yeah,
so
mate. They're Rusty Buckets class.
I've got one of them in the fridge. I'm going to have that next.
It's the only Rusty Bucket I ever want to
yo! Yeah. All right, mate. Listen, I really appreciate it, and best of luck to you. I hope you get back on the road soon and get gigging and doing all that good stuff.
Too,
and
you too. We'll tear up
absolutely,
Stendhal.
God's willing, we'll all tear up Stendhal together.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Feeling that will join the DUP.
All right, man. Take it easy. Bye.
Bro. Catch you later, man. Cheerio. This is the awkward bit.